Hi everyone, welcome back to Katarina's Garage. My name is Katarina Lloyd. Actually, I am here at I Pull You Pull here in Edmonton, and we're going to be checking out some vehicles here in the junkyard. I haven't been to a junkyard in, well, since last year, to be honest. So probably sometime in like October-ish, maybe even earlier than that. But yeah, let's see what we can find in here. So they actually do have this OBS for sale. Like, you can just buy this outright for $2,600. You know, it's kind of cool. It's a 93. These trucks are very, very popular. Actually, one of the best trucks ever made, to be honest. Now, their transmissions, depending on which one you got, could be a little dicey. They could have the NV3500 5-speed. They could have a 700 R4, or they could have a 4L60, at least in the half-ton trucks. So, and they also could have a little V6 in them, like 4.3 V6, 5 liter, or a 5.7, as well as a 6.5 diesel, but I don't believe those were in the half tons. But overall, really cool trucks. Here we actually have something you don't see very often. Old Nissan Sentra here. It's an 87, which I actually did a video on a much earlier one than this. Well, not too much earlier, like same generation. And okay, well, it's locked, but the door won't even open. That's fun. But this is actually pretty complete. And, you know, it's just kind of sad to see it here, because it actually looks to be in fairly decent shape, but who knows, maybe the motor blew up and whatever else, and they're not really worth a ton. So I kind of understand why it's here, but like, genuinely, this thing's not bad at all. And, you know, this thing has not been pillaged yet. But yeah, and it's, let's see, will this door open? Oh, there we go. There we go, let's take a look inside. Oh, it's even the 5-speed and everything too. Nice. Actually, and this seat's in pretty good shape. That one has a little tear on it, but these would actually go well in somebody's project. You know? Got the old stereo in it and everything. That's cool. I do like these a lot. And this is back when like Nissans were actually like kind of good, actually. And yeah, just a little sporty car from Nissan. Let's go see what else we can find here. Here we go, a 1984 Mercedes-Benz 300. Now you can see the power antenna mechanism over there. These are an amazing vehicle. They'll go down the road so comfortably. You can see, you know, 4-wheel disc brakes, which is nice. You know, like inside, you just see all the luxury, although somebody smoked in this one, sadly. But these seats, you know, would be super, super comfortable to sit in, you know. And this was like the epitome of luxury back in the 80s. And under the hood, it should be a little 3-liter V6, which, there it is. Like, I'm pretty sure there's, oh no, it's a V8. Okay, 3-liter V8. But now this is interesting. Like, it's like a plunger, or like a toilet. That's interesting. I've seen something similar on the PRD engines for the Peugeot Renault, or PRV. Peugeot Renault Volvo had a similar design to that on like the DeLoreans and stuff like that. But you know, these were actually a stalwart of reliability. They'd go forever. And it's kind of sad to see this one in the junkyard here, because it actually doesn't look to be in bad shape. Although it was smoked in, but take what you can get. Now, here is something that is not an uncommon sight in the junkyard. A Mini. However, this is interesting because it's fully rock guarded. Color coded. Now, this being with the hood scoop, this should be the Cooper S. So if we look under the hood here, yep, there it is. So there's the intercooler, and then there would be a supercharger underneath that. So it's pretty cool, honestly. Like, these were decent little vehicles, although they do have the reliability problems because, you know, BMW actually builds these for Mini, and they're not amazing. I have driven one, and you can see, so this one, obviously they erased it, it's just my guess. And you got the 6-speed manual in it and everything. This thing's still fairly complete. Door panels over here. You know, if somebody's looking for parts, not a bad one. Just interesting, the whole setup here. And that almost looks like it might be the exhaust off of this. Because they had a similar style to this. But, yeah, it's all here. It's cool. Here we go. Here we have a Jag XJ6 by the looks of it. I believe, unless that's a 12. No, it's a 6. You can see the inline 6 in here. And, you know, these were actually very popular to rip those out and put a small block Chevy in it. And actually, Roadkill did just that and put a blower on one, and it was amazing. Called the Jaguar. And these are like epitome of luxury as well, just like that Mercedes over there. This would have been direct competition to it. And just look at, you know, some of the gauges have been stolen out of it, whatever else. These seats would be comfortable as hell. And this is when, like, you know, sporty and luxury met. And it's sad because nowadays you just don't get anything quite as good as this for when it comes to that whole sportiness, but still very comfortable. And it's very sad. But overall, it's a cool old 87 Jag XJ6. Now, this is what I'm talking about. 1971 Monte Carlo. Now, you can tell it's kind of been pillaged quite a bit. It's still got the K member there. So I got the suspension, but that's about it. You know, and the body is just kind of, I mean, it's still salvageable, whatever else, but that vinyl top, chances are, it's probably cooked underneath that, maybe, but I don't know, hard to say for sure without peeling it completely off, and I'm not going to do that. There's no floor in it whatsoever. That's all been cut out. Dash is gone. This thing's been pretty pillaged, but it's cool to see. I love these. These are some of my favorites of the, what is this, GMA body, I think? Vehicles. Honestly, I'm just a big fan of these Monte Carlos. This is the first gen Monte Carlo. They made these from 1970 through about 1973, and then they changed the body style of it. And yeah, kind of Chevrolet's premier sort of vehicle. Beside it, we have what looks like a 52-ish, 51 maybe, Chevrolet. And you can see the old flathead 6 in here, which is cool. It actually might be earlier than I think it is. Also, it's not a Chevy. I don't know. Let's see. It kind of looks Chevy-like. Even look inside. There's some Dodge taillights there. Yeah, that's cool. It's got the horn ring and everything on it. And this was, oh, through the tree. That's pretty cool. You know, very neat overall. And this thing's actually not in that bad of shape. I mean, you got the door here. Oh, sorry, 53 Pontiac Chieftain. There you go. So similar vehicle, but different facet of it. And yeah, there's still plenty of parts to pillage off of this one. So if you're interested, you know, it's here at I Pull You Pull in Edmonton. Oh, this is a Dodge. Is this a, oh no, it's a Plymouth Fury. Plymouth Fury. And now, because this and the Dodge Monaco were sister cars, and this one being a 71, it's actually pretty cool. It likely would have had a big block in it, but the big block's probably long gone. Oh no, it's still here. Let's see, is it a big block? No, it's actually a small block. Okay, that's the reason why it's still here. So this would be 318, most likely. Possibly a 340. Unless if it was, you know, updated to 360, because the 360 wasn't out until 72, if I remember correctly. And you can, the reason how I can tell this is a small block versus a big block, see the distributor? Distributor's in the back of all small block V8 Mopars, while they'd be in the front if it's a big block. So, a little food for thought there. It's got a little 2-barrel on it. It's an original motor. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, there's still plenty of parts in this one too. You know, the grill's kind of still here, like you can see one piece there, and you know, it's a little cracked though, but you could fix it. You know, the bumper is in good shape. And just overall really cool. Bench seat. It's probably a column shift automatic's my guess, but the column's long gone. You know, but very cool. I love these big body, you know, body. Actually, no, this wouldn't be body on frame. Oh, it's this no, that's wrong. It's not a Coronet. This is not a Coronet. It's a Fury. But, you know, sometimes I get the labels wrong. Yeah, we continue on here. We got a 65-ish Ford Fairlane, or maybe Galaxy. I think it's a Fairlane though. Let's see, Ford Custom 500. There you go. So that's actually below the Fairlane. You can see inside, column shift automatic. You know, these were a nice little vehicle as well. And these were body on frame, and, you know, very comfortable. Now it's interesting. This is body on frame. This is unibody. So Dodge did everything unibody basically by 1962. And, well, whatever the power plant is long gone. So, who knows? It could have been a big block, could have been a small block. Who knows what it was? But it's pretty cool. And I've always been a big fan of these Ford front ends. Because they did this sort of similar design from about 1965-ish to 1967. Like, this is the peak in 1967. And it's just gorgeous. Oh, it came from Nova Scotia. You can see right there. Wow. And September of 2020. So it wasn't... Like, I know it got T-boned. Don't get me wrong. But this is an easily salvageable car. Like, it's kind of sad to see it in here. But it's how it goes. It's 63,000 miles. Actually, that's rolled over. Yeah, it has. You can tell because that front number is not lined up with the rest. But yeah, very, very cool. You know, here we have an old pickup. Is this an old Dodge? It's a Ford. Okay, Ford F100. There you go. Good old farm truck. And this would have had either, well, probably a flathead V8 up here, but that's, again, gone. Obviously, the front clip is gone too. The doors are quite rusted on the bottom, but realistically, like, if you need parts, you know, it's kind of hard to find some of this stuff. And actually, the box sides look really good. These fenders look fantastic. You know, bed floor is, yeah, that's what I figured. It was going to be a wood floor, and it's not really here anymore, but very, 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 very cool. Now, if this is what I think it is, it's very, very neat. Okay, it's not what I thought. This is in the wrong section, but that's okay. It's a Volkswagen Type 3. So for a minute, when I was looking at this, I thought it was actually a Henry J. But not seeing all the trappings on it, it's hard to tell for me. But so these are actually based on the Volkswagen Beetles. So in the back here, this is where the engine would have gone. So these are rear engine. They would have only been about maybe as much as a 1300cc, but I think even less than that. Oh, wow, that's still here. Holy shit, that's been here for months. Sorry, just seeing something else in the distance. But yeah, you can see a lot of Beetle-like things in this car, and it's really, really cool. These Type 3s are very popular, and they're getting a little hard to find now, but this one is in the junkyard. You can see the fuel tank up here, too, and everything. Oh, yeah, very cool vehicles. Have this about 52 or 53-ish Bel Air, which is cool, you know, Chevy. Wouldn't have a V8 yet, unless if somebody swapped it in. Now, there's your old inline 6 right there. So that's pretty cool to see. That'd be like a 235, maybe even smaller than that. I don't really know my Chevrolet inline 6s as well as, say, Ford inline 6s or even Dodge. You know, and it's just, I love the dash and everything. And I just love that the way that these were, like, built, because this is, like, honestly a pretty nice car. And it's kind of sad to see it in here, but it's a four-door. It doesn't have much value. So I understand why it's in here, but it still is very sad. You know, and it's a relatively complete car. And I got hit in the side here a little bit, but really, this thing's not in bad shape. It's such a shame, but again, what was likely, this was like sitting out on a farm or something, and then the family sold it, and now it's in here. Very disappointing, but that is what it is. This is an old Ford cab, I believe, and chassis. The box is gone. Let's see, what did they say? Yeah, Ford, it says F-150, but the F-150 didn't come out till mid-70s, so this is a F-100. And hey, so this carburetor actually, right here, I don't know if this would be the same. You'd have to take it apart to see, but it's possible that this is one of the rarer two-barrel carburetors, and the fact that it has Holly jets in it. Maybe. I don't know when they did the cutoff for that, because the carburetor that I have in my Mustang is one of these, except for off of a 63 Galaxy. So it's quite nice with the Holly jets. But there's not much left of this one anymore. Oh, yeah, and it's catching the fender there. But, you know, you can see the inside, whatever else. It's not much to look at, but it's still really, really cool. Here we have a Cadillac Eldorado, I believe. You know, it's super cool. Sorry, Oldsmobile Tornado. So, sister cars to each other. So these actually were front-wheel drive. Every single Tornado ever made was front-wheel drive. None of them were rear-wheel drive. And, you know, big-ass trunk in it. These would have had a 455 more than likely up front. Being a 72, good chance it was. And just really, really nice cars and like super comfortable. It's like, you know, riding a couch down the road. Just awesome. I love these things. My buddy actually, he has a 73 Eldorado. So again, very similar vehicle to this, albeit this is Oldsmobile and not Cadillac. Oh God, this hood weighs a ton. Is there even a motor in there? Oh, there is too. Oh, there we go. Ah, and there's that old big block in here. So this would be likely a 455 Oldsmobile engine. And now what's interesting about these, because like I mentioned, they're front wheel drive. So if you look down here, they've got a sort of bell housing that goes off to the side and has a drive shaft that goes to the front here. It's a very cool setup. And at the time, I mean, it worked, but it's a very interesting setup as to why, because most front wheel drives you see, they have the motor in sideways to make it easier. Just to, you know, the transmission is very small and it's off the side, and you can actually see there's an axle down there. So yeah, it's really cool though. I do dig these quite a bit. God, this hood weighs a ton. Whew, that's heavy as shit. Okay, there we go. And we see another flathead 6 in here, which is neat. I love the old flatheads because this is another old Chevy, right? Another Pontiac. Oh, is this the same one that I already checked out? No, it's not. Another 52 Pontiac Chieftain, which, yeah, you can tell actually. See I would have had a big trim piece that went here, and I would have said Pontiac right on the back here. It's pretty awesome, honestly. And you know, it's too bad that this one, I mean, the animal's got to this. Definitely. And it's kind of pretty far gone, this one. It's salvageable for somebody, but pretty far gone. And now, see, this is actually the oil bath air cleaner off of this. So basically, this would be filled with oil with an air cleaner inside. And it was actually a much more efficient system than the paper filters that we have now. Much more efficient. But the only downside to it is that it costs too much, so they stopped using these. But and then the fact you had to change out the oil and stuff like that in it every, you know, few thousand miles, it's kind of an annoying setup, but it was quite cool. This would have had a little 1-barrel carb. You can see, you know, they left surprisingly, they left the nuts on there. But this flathead 6, like, you know, wouldn't have made a lot of power. Would have been decent, and it's got Champion spark plugs in it still. It's very neat. I like it. Bunch of bullet holes in it. It's probably in some farmer's field, and they just, you know, took pot shots at it all the time. But, yeah, here we go. So this is like a 58 or so Mercury Montclair. 57, 58, somewhere in that range. And these were, if I remember correctly, these were Canadian only for the Montclairs. They were a different sort of thing. And basically, there was a lot of Canadian only models just to get around the whole chicken tax thing, because we had our own chicken tax just like the States did. And, anything that wasn't built here, there was a tax on it. So seeing these Canadian only models is pretty cool. At least I'm pretty sure that's what this is. I would have had a, you know, overhead valve V8 up front and stuff like that. Probably like a 352, give or take. It's cool. I think I remember seeing this one actually for sale, and unfortunately, it's now in here, which, I mean, it's a 62 Chevy 2 Nova sedan. Not as much interest in these. If it was a coupe, different story. Probably would have been snatched up pretty quick, especially for only $1,700. But because it's a sedan, not many people are interested in them, unfortunately. But it is what it is, right? And now, these are very popular to turn into, you know, race cars and stuff. A lot of people built the Chevy Novas into those back in the day. But this one, just a dilapidated corpse at this point. Good old inline 6 in here. There we go. Valve cover's gone because somebody took it. And they were going to take the manifold, and they decided, nah, we're not going to do that. But it's cool. Overall, very cool. Now, beside that, we actually have what year is this one? Because I know it's a 460 under the hood. That is, and judging by the sticker, says 429, 460. It's gonna be an early one. So this 460 could actually be the 365 horsepower, 10.5 to 1 compression motor, if it's any good anymore, because the carburetor's gone. But you never know. And what's actually kind of neat, Motorcraft oil filter. You know, and these were body on frame, big ass comfortable vehicles. Let's see, it's a 72. Yeah, so this wouldn't be, and I can't really open the door very well, but it would have had all the power options in it, you know, and it's like riding a couch down the road. Genuinely, it is. I've driven one of these, except for it wasn't a town car. They have the fender skirts here. Those, I know somebody's gonna be looking for those, guaranteed. Somebody's always looking for fender skirts. It's just finding that right person. You know, you got the hubcaps here, and they're like hefty valve, you know, or hubcaps. Like, these things are heavy. It's probably like 15 pounds just for that, 10, 15 pounds on that. But, you know, and I saw a set of wheels that would actually fit this, actually in the showroom. There we go, this door opens. Man, and Crater's gotten this one too. Go figure, they usually do. But, and it definitely smells like it too. Very, very cool though. It's actually, you know what? It's in very good shape, but some people just don't understand what they got. You know, and I mean, granted, who knows? Maybe this motor is blown up. Maybe the transmission's blown up. And also, something about these too is if you look at this rear end here, if you're ever looking for a cheap 9-inch, go take one out of one of these big body, you know, Lincolns, because they are a 9-inch and typically were limited slip. And now the gearing you'll want to swap out because it's probably like a 223, like a 273 or something. But you want a cheap 9-inch? This is where to find them, in these big body Lincolns, as well as some of the 70s like Mercurys and stuff like that too. So yeah. There we go. So here we have about a 65 or so GMC that, well, it's kind of missing its roof. And the doors are still here. You know, dash is gone, everything's gone out of this basically. But, and I remember seeing this one a few months back, actually. And stuff like that, because there's a lot of vehicles that, like, it's interesting. The classic vehicles, they don't have a lot of turnover. They keep these around for quite a while. And so I remember actually seeing this thing with the roof still on it last time I was here, which was, like I said, about 6 to maybe 8 months ago. But it's cool to see. It's still here. You know? And then the old Earl Exner years for the Mopars. This is a Dodge Regent. It's about a 58 or so. And there's a lot of stuff here. Like, Flathead 6. Now, I'm surprised that it's not a V8. That is a shocker. Because, yeah. Like, Flat 6? I thought, because I know the Slant 6 didn't come out until, I think it was 59 or 60. Like, what year is this one? Because they should have it on a thing. And this is also, like, same sort of vehicle that was in the movie Christine. Albeit that was a Plymouth Fury, but same sort of vehicle. Ah, there we go. Okay, it's a 57. Okay, that makes sense. That it's a Flathead 6 then, rather than it being, say, like a Slant 6 or a V8. So this was just your typical sort of just family sedan, nothing special. Although, like, it was cool looking. Like, it had this gold on, this would have been red. Very cool styling. And I can't, but like, look at how that opens. It's just like a refrigerator, right? It's really neat. And I love these. I'd love to own one someday, but man, they are a nightmare to find parts for. But this, I know people will go nuts for this, for parts, because from the, there's a group on Facebook, I'm trying to remember the name of it, but basically it's just all about, you know, the sort of forward look Mopars. That's what it is, forward look Mopars. Yeah, there's still a lot of usable parts on this thing, so very cool. Now, and this little thing, I'm pretty sure this was here last time too, along with that Valiant next to it. So this is a Ford Contour, or sorry, a Vauxhall. It's a 1960 Vauxhall. And interesting, it was at the Lindstrom auctions. So you could probably actually find the record of what this thing actually sold for. And then it got sent here, which is so sad. But, I mean, you can tell, though, it's quite rusty and whatever else. And, like, this would be a big job for somebody. But this would make a cool-ass hot rod if somebody wished to do that. Yeah, Vauxhall Cavalier. There you go. I don't know a ton on these, but Vauxhall was a subsidiary of General Motors at the time. And for a number of years, actually, that they were a subsidiary of them. But it's actually only fairly recently that GM sold off Vauxhall. And it's now part of the... I want to say it's actually part of the Dodge group, but I could be wrong. It might be an Indian company. I don't remember. But overall, very cool old Vauxhall Cavalier. And there's still a ton of parts on this thing. And these are probably like unicorn parts, safe for people to find. Like, I can imagine a lot of this just isn't made anymore. So, yeah, get down to Ipleupel. Come check it out. Here we go. Yeah, nice old Valiant with, and you can see the slant 6. And now you might think, why do they call it a slant 6? Well, notice that the head itself is actually slanted like that. And they did that for packaging reasons, because the motor was too tall to fit in a lot of their vehicles. So they redesigned the engine with it at a bit of a slant. So you can even see, like, the oil pan even is at a slant too. So they kind of mount it in kind of sideways. It's an interesting thing. Single master cylinder there, so it'd be kind of a death trap, but it'd be fun. Because if your brake lines go, like the dual master cylinder, at least you still have 2 brakes that work. But with that, all your brakes are gone. But yeah, it's got an interesting paint scheme on it too. And yeah, it's just pretty cool. And yeah, there's still quite a bit here. Now, I don't think that seat was actually in it, but maybe somebody adapted it. Who knows? But yeah, this is like a 62-ish, give or take. And oh, is it still here? Okay, so the glass is gone, but this actually had, you know, a roll up and down window here, which is cool. So you did that and then it would roll up, right? And you can see it coming up right there. That's really cool. Yeah, I love it. Love this. Now, actually, I'm not actually going to showcase the vehicle, but do you need lug nuts? There's just a ton of lug nuts in the back of this OBS Chevy. Or maybe it's GMC, doesn't matter, the same freaking truck. But yeah, let's see what else we can find out here in the land of the junkyard. Roached out square body Chevy, and this one being with the round headlights, it's pre-1979, or pre-1980 I should say. You got the quadrajet carb up there. You know, looks like a small block in this. I don't see the sticker. Oh, it's right here actually. Let's see, it is a 305. Okay, so not a super desirable engine, but you know, it's a V8 nonetheless. Small block Chevy, and this thing is just roached. I see what's in here. It's a 73. Wait, being that it's a K, it's a 4x4. I don't know if it's still there. I mean, judging by that the wheels are still there, I'd guess that the axle's still there too. Let's see, survey says. No, I think they just got that wrong. I think this is just a C, not a K. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty far gone anyways. Yeah, it's a GMC Sierra 15, so half ton. So even the sticker's wrong because it says it's a 3/4 ton. But, and not that the 2500 names actually existed, their 3/4 tons would have been like C20, or the, on these, it would have been like the S25, I think it was, but not actually 2500. So, pretty cool though. Pretty cool to see. Here we go. Cool old Ford Econoline van. It says 1986, which is, yeah, about right. This looked like a full-on conversion van too. Yep, it was. Check out those seats. Oh, it makes me miss my conversion van. It was so cool. So cool. And, yeah, no. So, captain's chairs, and these are probably swivel, I'm gonna guess, right? Yep. So these would actually swivel, and if you didn't have it reclined, you can actually swivel it all the way around. All these seats would do that. And, yeah, just very cool. I love these old conversion vans. I had a 84 GMC. I miss it. Such a cool van. I only owned it for like 2 months. Then I sold it. I regret it, but I wouldn't have been able to keep it anyways. So it's one of those things that thing would have eventually sold, whether I sold it then or sold it later. But very cool. You know, there we go. Nice old Chevy van. Now, this one's sliding door on the side of it and everything. It's been pretty pillaged on this one too, but it's very cool. And like I said, so my van was going to be similar to this, albeit it was a little later. This is 1980, mine was in 84, but it was very cool. Apologies for the break in the footage, but well, I got a phone call, and my buddy Braden, good guy, but he likes to talk a lot. And I mean, I like talking with him, don't get me wrong, but I was kind of busy with stuff like this. Which this is an International V8, and this is a, about, I don't know, 70s, 80s. They didn't really change the International trucks that much from about 1968 right up until like 1979. So this could be any of those years, to be honest, because they didn't really change all that much. This was an earlier one, though, I think, because it's got the smaller bumpers on it. But here, because I don't know what engine this actually is. This could be a 345. This could be a 390. I think they made a 290 as well, I think. I'm trying to remember for sure. But they're International, you know, International made all their own shit. They were a pretty good truck, actually. You know, and they don't do it anymore. Ah, it's a 4-speed. That's cool. You know, 4-speed, V8. Very cool. Okay, it's a 74. And it might actually be a 75 model year, just judging by the tag on it. Because it said it was built in the 9th month of 1974, so these things are very cool. And now the problem that these got, which you can see, some of that's happening right here. So the International trucks and the Scouts as well, what happened was they actually got their rolls of steel from China. However, they weren't covered up on the boat, and as a result, they started to get rusty. But International wanted to build these pretty cheap, so they didn't really bodywork them as well as they should have. And there were times, actually, when they were delivered to the dealership with rust coming through because of that. So, and here's the hood, actually, for it. It's kind of sad to see it in the, you know, frozen in the ground there. But I like these trucks, honestly, and I would potentially own one. But you got to watch the rust, though, because like I mentioned with the whole quality of steel thing, that they did, or at least it was on the Scouts. It may not have been on the trucks, but the Scouts for sure had that. And a lot of the parts from this actually interchange with the Scout. But it's very, very cool. So here we go. Here is about a 75, 76-ish, maybe a little later than that, Ford. That's a 4-barrel on it, which is cool. And I don't know what motor that actually is, but it's kind of just like sitting in there now because somebody took the transmission out and just left the motor there. But it's very, very cool. I like these trucks a lot. I actually have quite a bit of experience like selling. I sold quite a few of these for a buddy of mine. And it was a 3/4 ton. It was an F250. So there you go. It's a manual as well. Or actually, is that the 4-wheel drive shifter? No, that would have been the manual shifter, I believe. And it's cool. Very cool. And then what's kind of funny is it's like on the dash, you know, high output heater, right? Which is just like this sort of gimmick thing just to say, hey, you know, it's got a much more powerful fan on it. But yeah, overall, really, really cool truck. And it's a 73, it says. So there you go. Now, here is a sad sight. This is, I don't even know what year this one actually would be. But, oh, it's got a propane setup on it. Interesting. And it's a small block, because distributor's in the back. So it's 318, 360. And this thing, I mean, well, you can see why it's in the junkyard. So sad. So sad. But overall, very, very cool trucks. And this one, it says 1970, which it might be. It's very cool. I love these trucks a lot. I would love to own one, but they are, well, kind of, they're kind of hard to find in good shape. And actually, 1970, I actually think that this is later than that. Because 1970 was a different body style, I'm pretty sure. I think this is closer to like a 74, maybe, 73. But still very cool. Just sad to see the condition it's in. Here we go. Here's another cool old Dodge. And you can see, oh, it's actually got a Holley injection setup on this. Now that is interesting. That is an aftermarket Holley injection on this. Because this would have been like a throttle body injection anyways. That Dodge made. If I'm not mistaken, unless they actually used Holley units, but I don't remember that. But I could be wrong. Like this truck looks 70s. Even with like the seat and everything. It's 89? Really? Doesn't seem that late, but maybe it is. Because like just like the construction of the seat and everything looks a little earlier, but I could be wrong. And again, I can't see the gauges, so I don't know for sure. But it's really cool, honestly. I like these trucks regardless. I made them basically the same from like, or pretty close to the same from about 1974 right up until 1993. Because 94 they replaced with the second gen Ram, and yeah, it's really cool. This one has a flat deck on the back of it, of course, because the boxes would just get ruined. But it's not surprising. I know it's a small block in it. It's actually in pretty good shape. Like, it's kind of sad to see it in here, but I don't know. Maybe that injection setup just shit the bed and, you know, decided to ship it off here. Or maybe they just didn't see much value in it. Because, like, a vehicle like this, if it was going down the road, it's probably worth like $2,000. So, especially in this shape too. Like, the body's in pretty good shape. The rockers are a little gone, so is the doors. But really, it's not that bad. But it is a 1-ton, so that does affect the value a little bit, I suppose. But still. Or at least desirability. And oh my god. Well, this was a Dodge truck. Pretty sure. Yeah, this was a Dodge. Ah, that's sad. That's so sad. You know, motor with a small block with a distributor out back. There's not much left of this dilapidated corpse, but it still is pretty cool. You know, got another square body here. Now, is this a Blazer, actually? Like, is this a Blazer? It is, too. There you go. So these were essentially take a truck, but make it so that it is, well, has a removable top on it, like this one had, and it's an SUV. It's kind of cool. This was a full convertible top, so it would have had a windshield frame here, and then because it's a 75, it had this fiberglass top that would go all the way to here, basically. And you could remove the entire thing and have a full convertible SUV. It was a pretty neat idea. Now this, it was a 3 on the tree, so you can see it here, right? This is the mechanism. And you can see these levers down here. Now something is that hang on a minute, or is this just an automatic? I'll call them shift automatic. I can't even, the gauges are so far gone. Oh, it is an automatic. Okay, never mind. I thought this was a 3 on the tree setup because I saw these 2 levers here, but that's actually just for the 4-wheel drive to engage that. Because there is a 3 on the tree setup where you can honestly just use those levers and shift it from first, second to third without actually using the column. It's a little interesting because they use a similar lever setup. So that's just your 4-wheel drive shifter there. So there you go. This is a K5 Blazer. It's pretty cool. Sadly, it's really far gone, but it is pretty neat. Now this is sad. So it looks like this one's just about to be crushed here. This is a Oldsmobile Cutlass G-body vehicle, and you know, these were very, very popular back in the day to build out as race cars or whatever else like that. But this one, it's about to be crushed. You can see this is the lineup to get crushed, and it's sad. So, but it is what it is. And this thing, I mean, who knows? This thing could be like completely roached underneath. It looks like it's pretty complete too, but I can't really tell from here because, like I said, I can't get beside it or anything. But yeah, that poor Cutlass is about to be screwed by the looks of it. Very sad. Unless they're bringing it into the yard, hopefully, but it's kind of looking like that they have the gate open and everything, but you never know. We'll see. And see, I'm starting to recognize some stuff back here. Like, last time I saw this, it was a relatively complete truck. Now it's stripped out. Pretty sure if you look at my last I Pull You Pull video, you can actually see this truck, if I'm not mistaken. Cool old, you know, square body Ram. Absolutely love it. Or first gen Ram. If you want to call it that too, because square body belongs to the Chevy guys. They'll tell you that, but it's a square body Dodge. I don't care. I got another one back here too. This one's in good shape by the looks of it though too. The motor's still in it. Oh, it's a slant 6. That's why it's still in there. It's a good old slant 6. You know, but it's pretty neat. And again, I love these trucks. My dad had an 81 slant 6, but it was a same spec as this. Automatic. It was a 727. 411 gears. Gutless as hell, but really cool. And I mean, okay, just how good this truck is. Like, that's sad. Now, it's granted, the motor might be fucked, or, Transmission might be rear end piled up, who knows? But this would have been a good truck for somebody. And it's just sad to see it here. Like, I mean, there is a bit of rust on this back here, but really, oh, that is saddening. But it is what it is. That's how it goes, right? It's cool. Let's see what else we can find. Another 70s Ford that, sadly, there's not much left of that dilapidated corpse. There's a motor in there, but carburetors are always gone every time. It's a 2-barrel engine. I can't tell what it is, but it's cool. Hey, you still got the, for the emission shit of the spacer. That actually might be useful for somebody, but, because sometimes you need that. Alternatively, it's just, it's nice, you know, spacer. And, yeah, no, like, if anybody needs a Ford-style 2-barrel spacer, well, there's one right here. It'd be really cheap to get it from here. Let's see. We have another old Ford here. This one's earlier. This is 60s, early 70s style. This is the one that, like, everybody wants. And, I see that 2-barrel carb up there. This, I'm pretty sure, is identical to mine. Other than it's got an electric choke added onto it, which, bear in mind, mine does too. Oh, wait, no, that's a Holly unit. Yeah, that's a Holly unit. Hang on, that's not a Motorcraft. Yeah, no, that's definitely a Holly 2-barrel. Interesting. Because of, you see this, or maybe it is a Motorcraft. Hang on. No, this is a Motorcraft. I was lying. I saw this, like, lever set up to go here, but I guess, yeah, no, they are like that. I was not using my brain with that, but still. So that could be, like, similar carburetor to mine. With the Holly-style jets in it. And it's just really, really cool. This is originally an Edmonton truck, too. And, oh, look at this seat. That's such a shame. Such a shame that's here, but I understand why. I mean, it's kind of hurting. It's 71 F100. There you go. And just so sad to see it here. But it's one of these things. It's one of my favorite styles of these Ford trucks. Are these ones. And you can see, you know, there's the VIN and everything. There. It's pretty neat. God, it's Dodge Central around here. Because now this style predated what was like the first gen Ram style. Even though the Ram didn't come out till the 80s with the name, but you had these, which these are kind of a cool truck. They existed with this style from like 1963. Oh, it's a Fargo. So this is actually it is a Dodge, but it's actually a Fargo. So pretty much these were rebadged Dodges for the Canadian market. You don't actually see very many of these Dodges up here. And here you go. 1962. And they're identical in every way, other than the badges, to a Dodge pickup. And they're pretty cool. I do like them. There's a 66 with a slant 6 and a 4-speed that I really want to buy off of my buddy Greg, but we'll see what happens with it. But, yeah, no. Overall, just very, whoa, little slick. Very, 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 very cool. And then this Ford actually is like, again, it's Truck Central over here at the moment. I'm in Truckland. Check out this seat. This is so cool with the plaid insert and everything. Man, I'm surprised nobody's taken this yet. It's tempting for me to take it, but I don't know what I'd do with it. So it's one of those deals. I don't have anything to put it in, but man, that's really cool. I like the seat, and it actually looks to be in pretty good shape overall. You know, this is a 77 F100, or F-150. And there's the tailgate, which actually had a chrome strip on the top of it, which is pretty cool. That would have been added. That wouldn't have been from the factory. And it's an Explorer. So hang on, actually being an Explorer trim, actually that may have been from the factory. And actually that would make sense with this seat, the way it is too. This probably, yep, it had a headliner in it too. You can see it. So this was a high-end truck. Very high-end truck. For its time. Like, this would have been a fully loaded truck, just about, I would think. Motor's long gone. It was probably a 460 is my guess. You know? And so a little bit of tearing right here. But otherwise, damn, this thing's in good shape. And it's just such a shame. Like, if I had to use for that seat, I would take it in a heartbeat. Like, you can see, like, the striping on it and everything that it had. You know, with the Explorer package. It was very, very cool. Kind of sad to see it in here, but welcome to the junkyard. Now, this was here the last time I was here. It's like a 66 or so GMC, or maybe Chevy, I can't remember. But, you know, look at the very 70s custom, maybe even 80s. And you can see even like the dash was covered up with that sort of stuff. And, you know, they got this seat cover and everything, like, and it had a full-on, like, you know, full surround with all of that in there at one point. It's a 66, there you go. And yeah, it was a pretty cool truck, but it's long past its, when that was deemed cool. Even though I still like to see that. Like, I like that button tuck and everything. It's really awesome, but yeah, it's just so sad that they would, like, destroy dashes to do it, though. But it's okay. It was the 70s, who cared? Or maybe even 80s. But it was, you know, 70s, 80s is when they did that. So, but pretty cool. Alright, we continue on here. So, it took me a while to find something else really cool, but this is an old Chevy Malibu wagon, which is pretty neat. And you see, good old 3.8 V6 in it. With, yeah, honestly, kind of cool to see. Or at least I think this is, although those hubcaps, I don't believe, this may be in a Buick or an Oldsmobile, but it is really cool. And these were like the epitome of, like, oh no, it is a Chevy. Okay, no, I was right. These were like the epitome of, you know, just that luxury that way. Or not necessarily luxury, but more like just your basic sort of transportation and being a wagon. It was very, very practical, right? 79 Malibu, there you go. And yeah, this actually may have had, you know, see the tailgate goes down like that. Pretty cool. And actually this one would not have had a roll down window. It would have just been kind of here, I think. Or no, it would have had one of these windows where you could turn a thing and pop it open like that, and then it's kind of like a split tailgate, right? I think. But you know, it's very, very cool. I've always liked these, and someday, who knows, maybe I'll own one, but until then, you know, this one's here, which I almost want to say I saw this actually at the Olds auction like over a year ago, but maybe it's a different one. It's hard to tell for sure. Because there was one very similar shape to this with a 3.8, same color and everything. Like, how many yellow, you know, Malibu wagons do you find around? Not too many. So, potentially, I may have seen this one before, albeit not here, but down in Olds. So, I come up on this thing from a distance, and all I see are these pop-up lights. No bumper on it or anything. I'm like, what is it? And then I realize, oh, it's a Fiero. So, these are kind of interesting because they were GM's first attempt at a mid-engine vehicle, which this has, the good old... Actually, this looks pretty good back here. This is the Iron Duke 2.5. You know, these actually had a problem when they were first year, which this is 84, so this would have had this problem if it wasn't already addressed, which I believe it is, that there was a gas or oil fitting that would basically break and these things would catch on fire, and they were very well known for that. But this looks like that somebody really cared for it. And I wonder why it's in here, unless it just got to be too much of a project and then they just got rid of it, maybe. And oh, actually, 2.8 liter, wait, that's not a V6. It was, so this, okay, this lid is off of a different vehicle, that's why I was like, wait a minute, because that would be a V6. This is not. You can see the little injection system on it, which didn't work all that well, but it's kind of interesting. Like, this motor was painted up all nice and everything, and then chucked in the junkyard here. Very sad. But it looks like it was very well taken care of overall before it got stripped for parts. You know, just very neat. And the door won't open. But yeah, so these were kind of like a commercial failure, but they did actually, you know, make these for quite a while. But unfortunately, after these early 84s caught on fire or whatever else, they started to get a bad reputation of just being a bad vehicle, and by 1988, the Fiero was gone. So, only a few short years for this awesome design, which actually in 82 may have been the first year, but I can't remember. Regardless, doesn't matter. There you go. Square body GMC Sonoma, which is cool. I do actually kind of like these a little bit. Under the hood here, we have some sort of a V6. This is maybe a 4.3? Maybe? Or maybe it's even smaller than that. Maybe like a 2.8 or 2.9. I don't really know these trucks overly well to see that. I mean, it's got the TBI unit. You can see the 2 injectors on top and everything. And yeah, this is like a 91-ish, give or take. But overall, it's cool. Ooh! It's got some half-decent buckets in it. I mean, they're tearing a little bit there, but that'd be cool. And it's a 4x4 too. Yo. Yo. Now, okay, hear me out. So, okay, you have these seats, which is cool. Oh, sorry, not 4x4. It's just a 5-speed. My bad. I thought that was a 4-wheel drive shifter. I wasn't looking at it properly. But so, hear me out. So, okay, you have these seats, right? Pretty decent overall. Look pretty cool. But look what we have right beside it. Genuinely, these seats in there, oh, that would look so good. But these would also like work incredibly well too, I think. Now what's interesting, this Camaro was also here last time too. So they don't have a lot of turnover with some of these older vehicles like this. And this one's a little more stripped because I believe it was more of a full car back then. But yeah, this is a 2nd-gen Camaro. And you can tell Critters got into this one pretty good. I kind of remember that. But these are like, it's not a small car. Like, these are a big car. They're like 17 feet long. They're just ridiculous. But they're awesome. And I do like these, but this one's pretty far gone. They made these from 1970 right up until 1982, I believe. 81 or 82. But very cool. Now, this is kind of sad. So this is a Mercury Grand Marquis sitting here in the junkyard that looks to be in really good shape overall. Like, I just don't understand why this is here. You got the 5-liter in it, which is cool. And that wouldn't be the high output, I don't think. This would make like 130 horsepower, not the 225 that it should, depending on what year this is. Because what year is it? 87. So it's either E6 or E7 heads, actually. And oh, this is a shame. Like, such a shame to see this in here, because it's such a nice car. Like, this is one that I wonder why it's here. Other than it's just an old car that people didn't like, and they just wanted to get rid of it, and they paid them $1,000 to put it in here. That's my only guess. But wow, it's just such a shame. These are on the Panther platform, which was Ford's, body on frame platform that started all the way back in the 70s. And it went until 2011, which is one of the longer running platforms, actually, that existed. But yeah, it's just very, very sad to see this in here. Because, like, genuinely, like, you got a 5-liter here. Who knows? Maybe this motor is screwed. You don't know. These injection systems are not that bad. And wow. Original heater hose right there. You see the motocroft around top there? That's original. That's really cool. And I'm a fan of these. I really am. But I don't know. Again, it's just such a shame that it's in here, because genuinely, like, this thing's in good shape, but it might just be, who knows, maybe the AOD is piled up in it, maybe that motor is cooked, maybe the rear end is cooked, which this should have an 88 rear end too, of some description. It'd be wide because it's, look at the vehicle, but it should be an 88 rear end, so probably like 273s or something. But if you want a cheap 88, you can get it out of one of these too. And they're just wide though, so it's kind of difficult to put it in your application, but go from there. Here we go. It's a little, it's not an Escort, it's below that. Is this like the Aspire, or what the hell even are these? Got a little 4-pot here, which is a 1.3 liter. Tiny little thing. I don't know the last time I actually saw one of these genuinely. Because, oh, no. So, not Escort. Fiesta, or this might be a Festiva. It's a Festiva, there you go. So the Festiva, I believe, was the base version of a Fiesta. And, you know, they were just basic economy. Woohoo, it's got 353,000 kilometers on it. So it had a good life. You know, just goes to show you, you know, how well this thing was taken care of, because 353,000 kilometers on it, and it's actually in decent shape. Now, I can imagine maybe the motor piled up, whatever else like that, or it just has so much wrong with it that they just chucked it in the junkyard and said, screw it, give me my $700 and get rid of this POS that's in my driveway. Could have been something like that too. But it's really actually not in bad shape. It's kind of cool to see that. Now here is, so this and that over there are very similar cars. This is a Ford LTD Crown Vic. That's a Grand Marquis. Essentially just like rebadged versions of each other. You know, you got the same engine, 5-liter up here. Now the one thing is, I'm curious what year this one is. Because, yeah, this could actually be, I mean, this one's in a little worse shape than the other one over there. But, let's see, what does the sticker say? 1986. Okay, so this definitely has the E6 heads, which are hot garbage. Because this wouldn't be the 5-liter high output. But it's still, like, interior-wise, incredible shape. It is showing 193,000 kilometers on it. So it doesn't have that many miles. And that door doesn't shut, but okay. Yeah, like big ass trunks, right? Like this. You know, you can fit a bunch of, well, you know what people usually say about these. And it's just, oh man. Sad to see it in here, but I understand this one a little more, like, this one makes a little more sense with some of the rust it has, but it's still not that bad. For somebody just like a daily driver that's comfortable, this would be perfect. That other one, like, it looks like you could put the thing on the road, but it is what it is. That's fine. See what else is in Fordlandia. Here we have a Jag in drag. So this is a Lincoln LS, which was based off of, I want to say it was the Jag X type, which was also based off of a Ford, but under the hood is a Jag designed V6. Or were these V8? I think actually Jag V8. They were not good cars. These things would nickel and dime me to death when it came to like problems that they had over and over and over again. Like, I would never recommend somebody get one of these, but they are kind of cool and they are quite luxurious. You know, you can see like the leather and stuff like that. But yeah, 2003 Lincoln LS. And just kind of sad. Now we have two Fox body T-Birds. Actually have different years too. This one's earlier, this one's later, I think. No, this, actually I might have had that backwards. I think this is the earlier one, this is the later one. We'll find out. So these are actually very similar, and hey, you got 10-volt wheel back here with actually pretty decent rubber on the back, to be honest. Yeah, no, that's a good tire. And it's not flat. So there you go. So this is an 86. This is an 87. Okay, that's what I thought. So this is the 4-eye bird. This is the arrow bird. So we can actually see the differences between the two. And now, ooh. Hang on a minute. We got a T5 in here. That is a T5 manual shifter. Oh, this is where, so this is a bit of a gold mine. You got decent seats here, actually. These would be very, very comfortable, to be honest. And so this is a, these were like the luxurious sort of Fox bodies, or one of the luxurious ones anyways. So, 2.3, this is probably a 2.3 turbo, maybe? But as you see, the head is long gone here. Yeah, there it is. There's a turbo right there. And you can see actually how the intake and the head are actually one piece with the turbo here. So this is kind of sad to see in here. This would have actually been a really cool car back in its day, but unfortunately, yeah, it's kind of gone at this point. And ooh, look at the rust. Oh, but this has got a T5 in it. It's a 4-banger T5, but still, you got 3 10-holes on it. So, you know, with good tires, like, this would have been a perfect project, or like perfect to pillage parts off of for actually my buddy Braden, who had one of these until very recently. But really cool. Now here we go. So here's another 2.3 engine, but this one actually is this is a turbo model too. Yeah, it is. Interesting. So these are the later like injected turbos, right? Where if you saw actually a little video that I put up of one of the carbureted turbos that is a much different design, similar but different because again, you know, a little improved here. But yeah, and this would have had, so when I say 4-eye or arrow nose, so like these are the 4-eye, right? Because it has 4 individual headlights. Well, this would have been like a sort of, actually it would have been like a 3-piece or even a 1-piece. Actually, you can see. So this would have been on the corner-ish, or actually I don't even think that's for this. It might not be. But it would have had, like if you look it up, it would have been like a 2-piece but a much bigger headlight that went to like here. And that whole headlight was like 1 piece and then it had the little corner pieces, right? But yeah, this one, 2.3. Now let's see, is this one a manual or an automatic? And also rear disc brakes. So quite a nice little upgrade. This might be an 88, might be a 7.5. And so this one has the AOD in it. So there you go. A little bit different setups here. So AOD T5. Somebody that needs parts will pillage that immediately. Because T5s, even though it's a 4-banger T5, still T5. They're not as strong as, say, the V8 T5s, but if you need one for a 4-banger application, you got all the parts right here. And you want a AOD for a 4-banger, you got all the parts right here as well. So yeah, pretty damn cool for these two T-Birds sitting here. Both of them, 2.3 turbos. Pretty neat. Now we got a big body Mercury Grand Marquis here. This is 70s. I want to say this is like a 78 maybe? Now what is this under the hood? It's big. I want to say, is this a modified block or is this actually a 460? Let's see, survey says 460, there you go. So these are, what's interesting about these motors, so okay, this is low compression. It's not really like the one you want, but if you just want a 460 to build, perfect to grab. These were usually pretty well taken care of and didn't have a lot done to them. Now, it's interesting. So the transmission is gone, but this would have had a C6, which is also very desirable for people as well. And this has a 9-inch rear end, like I mentioned earlier. So, you know, there's the drive shaft right there. And yeah, just like epitome of luxury. Like, look at how pillowy these seats are, just like riding a cloud down the road. Like I said, I've driven one of these. It was and hey, look at that, 78, called it. Woo! No, that's really, really cool. And I'm a big fan of these. And there's the rad and everything, I believe, out of this. Or maybe it's something out of something else, because it wouldn't have had that. That's out of something else. But yeah, just overall, a really, really cool old dilapidated corpse just sitting here. And I mean, this one's a little rougher than the other cars that I saw earlier, but yeah, pretty sad. Now, this is when I talk about the Panther platform, this is the last iteration of the Ford Panther platform. So this right here, they had 4.6s. They were used as cop cars and taxis and stuff like that. This happens to be a 99, but they did make this exact same body style right up until 2011. And they were executive vehicles too, with like the Lincolns and stuff. Very comfortable, body on frame. You know, the last of its breed at this time. Because Chevrolet made its last one in 96. And then Ford kept going with the body on frame. Everything else was unibody by this point for everybody else. And like with Dodge and everything, because Dodge didn't really make a body on frame vehicle past 62. So, and there's a little 4.6 V8. Very reliable, very good engines. It would have had like a A40D, I think, or something like that. I can't remember the exact designation for the transmission, but yeah, very reliable. They go forever. And people actually build these into fun cars. And ooh, something else I see. Hang on. Normally, you might think, why the hell are you excited about a PT Cruiser? Well, for one reason alone. That. So this is essentially an SRT4 Neon as a PT Cruiser. It's a 2003. Now let's see. Is it the unicorn spec or no? Nope, it isn't automatic. Majority of these were automatic, so you can see it down there. But these, other than, so under the hood though, There was one thing that differentiated these from an SRT4 Neon, where the SRT4 Neon made like 230 horsepower. These made 215 because you can see how crammed it is under here. Whatever else, they had to really restrict the exhaust on these PT Cruisers from the factory, so it actually made 15 less horsepower than the SRT4 Neon. But this is one of the ultimate sleepers, because people expect a Neon to be built up. They don't expect a PT Cruiser. So, and you got like the same spec of stuff for the most part in these. They're very cool and kind of rare actually for the GTs. All right, I have left Ford land and I've gone to Dodge land. And now we see, I believe this is a Dodge Reliant. Okay, I believe that's what this is. Let me just confirm. Plymouth Reliant, sorry. There you go. These were a little K car. They're pretty cool, honestly. They weren't the best cars in the world. They like to blow head gaskets and stuff like that. But they weren't too bad. My dad had actually a Plymouth Acclaim with a 2.5 turbo at a 5-speed for, he owned that for, I think it was like 7 months or so. Very fun vehicle with a 2.5 turbo. And now this little engine, this would be the 2.2, I believe. I think, let's see. Yeah, 2.2 right there. So this is a Mitsubishi designed engine, and Dodge at the time actually, like, this is what saved Dodge as a company, because they got the bailout in 1978 or 79 from the government, and then they started to do the partnership with Mitsubishi to build these. And it's a decent little power plant, to be honest, and people build the hell out of these, especially with like the turbo setups on them. Really cool. And I do like these. They're not exactly a good vehicle, but they'd be pretty comfortable overall and a decent little beater. If you're looking for one, well, think about a Plymouth Reliant. And now we stumble upon something that I haven't seen one of these in a while. So this, I want to say it's either an Eagle or a Plymouth. Like it's either a Plymouth Laser or an Eagle Talon. This would have had the 4G63, you know, 4-banger Mitsubishi motor up here that people love to build those and, you know, build stupid power out of them. They put those in the Eclipse and the Evo, which these are like an exact, oh, there you go, it's Plymouth Laser. So this is actually one of the rarest ones. You see right here? You don't see these very often. They made far more Eagle Talons, and as well as Mitsubishi Eclipses than these. And they're all twins of each other. They're all the exact same. There's just minor differences, like say the taillights might be a little different, the headlights were a tad bit different and stuff like that. But very much like same body and everything, and it's a 5-speed. So it still has the 5-speed here. The motor's long gone, which I'm not surprised. This was probably was this a TSI version or like the turbo all-wheel drive? Was wanting to find out. Yep, there you go. This was the all-wheel drive turbo. You see it's rear-wheel drive here because these are normally front-wheel drive. So it's back here. Well, that's cool. So these are actually pretty cool and kind of sought after in a way. Kind of sad to see it because it being the Laser RS, it's the same as an Eagle Talon TSI or the top version of the Mitsubishi Eclipse at the time too. But very, very cool. And these are part of the DSM, which was Diamond Star Motors. And this is, and you can actually see it right there, DSM. This is when they actually, so Dodge kind of merged with Mercedes, like Mercedes bought them. And then at the same time, you also had the Mitsubishi as well with that. That was very cool. At least I think it was this time. It may have been actually a little later than this, but the Diamond Star Motors is just kind of cool. And it's of a bygone era because Diamond Star Motors only lasted about maybe 10 years. And then they made these. It's pretty cool. Now I come along here and I see this Dakota. Now the only thing I want to know is what year is this Dakota? Because under the hood, there's a 318. Yes. But there is a unicorn of a year and it's dented in. No, I might not be able to open this door. No, I can't. And I don't know how to decode the VINs on these, but in 92, there was kind of it was a unicorn of a year for these 318s, where basically they made like about 20 or 30 extra horsepower over the regular 318. Because like, if I remember correctly, they used like 1970 high compression heads or something on these. And yeah, no, it's pretty damn cool to see one of these Dakotas, and they're not bad vehicles at all. I just wish that there was the year somewhere on this thing, because man, let's see if I can find a tag on it, because maybe they have the specific year that this one is. There's no tag on this door, because usually they have like a sticker somewhere on the outside of this. There it is. Okay, that's wrong. It's not a 98. Because this would have been a different body style in 98. So who knows what year this is, but yeah, and actually, let's see, maybe I can find it by the tail lights here. No, that says 86, which again is wrong too. So I don't know, but it's cool as hell. And I like these Dakotas. They're actually good trucks, but you don't see very many of these like sort of first-gen Dakotas anymore. Well, this is like the facelift of the Dakota, because the early ones had like a caravan front end on them. Well, this had like its kind of a unique sort of Dakota front end on them. But yeah, they're not. It's pretty cool. So right on cue. So we have a second-gen Dakota here, and then we have a first gen, and then a really early Dakota, because like what I'm talking about with that caravan front end right here, they took this exact front end off of the first gen caravan and they put it on the Dakotas, which a lot of people did not like that. And you know, under the hood here should be a little yeah, it should be a 3.9 V6, which is, that's what it is, because they didn't actually put the V8s in these ones unless you got a Shelby Dakota. Those had a 318 in them. But these really early ones like that, it wasn't until they changed the front end like you saw before. And that says 252,000 kilometers on it. You know, I like these trucks, honestly. They're a good little truck. They do have their warts, of course, but they're really not too bad. And you can't really go too wrong with an old Dakota like this. Because, you know, they're just very reliable. They had good engines in them. I just avoid the four-banger ones of these, because they were, if I remember correctly, AMC, and even some of them had Iron Dukes in them, four-bangers. So run away from the four-bangers. But V6 and V8s, absolutely very good engines. So this is on the Chrysler P body platform, which is a modified K body, but they spent like $800 million on these, and it was an abject failure. Very much a failure to the company. But this one, it got crashed, and you know, it's kind of hurting now. But they're a full hatchback. Like, you can see how it's opening like that. Got the stupid hatch here that's in the way, but so they're a hatchback, even though they look like a coupe. That's what made the two-door is kind of cool too, because this one, they made the P-bodies from like there you go, that's Dodge Shadow. So, because there was a Dodge Shadow, then there was a Plymouth version of these too. But from, basically, this was being a 94. This would have been one of the final years for it. So they made these from about 1988 right up until about 1994-ish, 95, give or take. Somewhere in that range, I can't remember. But, yeah, overall, really cool. Now, here's a Dodge Magnum. My dad has one of these, actually. And, good little vehicles. Let's see, what's under the hood of this one? Is it a 3.5 V6? That's the engine you actually want in these. You do not want the 5.7, you do not want the 2.7. This is actually a good engine. They make 240 or 250 horsepower, 250 foot-pounds of torque. And all you gotta do is just, you know, watch the maintenance on it. Take care when the timing belt needs to be done, on the water pump and stuff like that. And these are a very, very golden vehicle. They do have an issue with the shifter, actually. There's this thing called the pink thingy that everybody calls it. And it's this little plastic piece that makes it so that you can actually shift into gear properly. That'll break over time, and then you can't shift it properly. So it's just affectionately called the pink thingy, which you can actually see it right down there. So there you go. There's the pink thingy. But it's pretty cool. These are on the Chrysler LX platform vehicles. And with these LX platform, they had, so the Dodge Magnum, the Chrysler 300, the Dodge Challenger, as well as the Dodge Charger. So, and that's pretty cool. This one's kind of hurting very bad, but they're very good vehicles overall. And I do like them. And being a wagon too, it's one of the last like sort of wagons. Even like, yes, Cadillac made a wagon too, but that's rear-wheel drive and stuff. But these are SXT, rear-wheel drive, very cool. Now here we have a Dodge Daytona, which this is the 2.2 or maybe 2.5 turbo engine. Which is still has the valve cover here, like it tells you, turbo. I don't see the turbo though itself. Here's a timing belt, which is starting to have a little bit of issues. It's actually not really. I mean, it's an older timing belt, but it wasn't used very much. So somebody tried to take care of this one. You know, with the pop-up lights and everything, this is an earlier Daytona because of that. The later ones just, they did these fixed headlights and they didn't look as good. But, oh, this one's been stripped. You can see, like, there's nothing left of this interior. It's been stripped out entirely. It's not very often you see it. Now, this is Charger, but that's not correct. This is Daytona, not a Charger. The Charger was a totally different vehicle, and it was dead by this point. So, and yeah, chances are I'm not going to find this gen of Charger in the junkyard, the 80s one, but hey, you never know. And, yeah. Hey, I finally found a Mustang in the junkyard. So this is a New Edge Mustang, which these were made from 1999 until 2004. This one says this is 99. They all had either a 3.8 V6 or the 4.6 liter V8, which this is the 3.8. Now the 3.8 actually did start out life in, it was 1983. Sorry, probably wasn't right there. 1983 was the first year for this engine, albeit it did not have this injection system on it. They were either carbureted or they had a throttle body injection system that was terrible. I had an 86 Mustang that had the 3.8 with the injection on it, and it actually blew up the motor. So they were not very good injection systems at all. When they worked, it was great, but it acted like a carburetor. It was really, really bad. But yeah, these are actually my favorite of the modern Mustangs here. And that's the one thing actually I want to check. Is this an automatic or a V8? It's an automatic, so it'd be the E40D, but these could actually have like a T5 in them too. So, if it's the V6 anyways, it'd have a T5. Right up until somewhere around like 2008 or so. So yeah, pretty cool to find in a junkyard though. Here we go. Chevrolet Caprice wagon. It's a big ass car, body on frame. Got a carbureted quadrajet up here. Small block. This thing is sweet. Very comfortable. Again, body on frame and everything. Very, very cool. And this was, you don't find these very often, especially as a wagon. Like, you'll see a lot more sedans out there than wagons, but it's very neat. This is a 1980, and it's an Impala. All right, so very cool. Which the Caprice and the Impala was the same thing. Just the Impala was the top end, while the Caprice was the bottom end. Now, here's another Chevy Caprice. So this was the last of Chevrolet's body on frame right here. And this being in 96 is the final year for it. They made some badass version of these with like the Impala SS and stuff like that. And with the LT1s and everything. But this one is not that. It is a 5.7 though, which is cool. But you can see it's been pillaged for like the intake and stuff like that. And the distributor is not there and stuff like that. But it's very cool to see. Most of these had either the 4.3 or the 5 liter. Finding the 350 in them is actually a little bit rare. And they did make these in the cop cars as well. So you find those, they do have some trick rear end parts and stuff like that too. And the motors had a little bit more power. So those are ones to look out for. Now here we go. So this is, I want to say it's a Caprice as well, with a little small block up here. This is a 70s, like late 70s or maybe even 80s, but I want to say it's like 78. 77, there you go. 77 Chevrolet Caprice. This is just, again, kind of a shame to see it here, because it actually looks to be in fairly good nick overall. Although, this is interesting. Somebody did all the spray foam in here, because that wouldn't have been factory like that. There's no way. They would not have let it leave like this. So somebody was trying to do some sound deadening. This probably had like a sound system or something like that back here. And it may have been like a competition sort of vehicle in that regard. But it's nice to see the original glass still here. That's kind of unobtainium. You know? And it's very, very cool. I'm a big fan. And like I said, this thing seems like in really good shape. Like, why is it here? Honestly. Other than maybe it's just an old car. Who knows? I mean, stuff could have piled up. You never know. But it's actually in pretty good shape. And it's such a shame. Such a shame. So here we have my favorite of these. Which actually, hang on a minute. I think this is the one that was for sale like almost a year ago. And it's now back here. That's such a shame. So this is a Pontiac Grand Prix. It's on the G-body platform. And yep, this is the one. Sadly, nobody bought it. So, and they say it's got the solid frame, which these were synonymous for the frame back here getting really rusted out. And you can see, actually it looks to be in pretty good shape overall. And it has, you know, the HK designation there, which I don't, Hetchler and Co. or something? I can't remember what that stands for. But yeah, so this is on the G-body, so it shares with like the Cutlass that we saw earlier, the Buick Regal, you know, all those different vehicles that way. This is my favorite. I don't know why. Because it's not exactly the best looking. Like, the best looking probably goes to the Regal. But there's something about this front end that I like. I don't know. But it's really cool. I'd like to own one someday. And sad to see this one, that nobody picked this one up. Because it's actually in pretty good shape. But here she may lay in the junkyard. Now, I remember seeing a thing about these on their Facebook page, actually, that they brought in not one of these. They're all Mitsubishi High Aces, I think, or not High Ace. I can't remember what the Delicas. So, Mitsubishi Delica. Then there's like 4 more down here too. These are JDM style sort of vans, and they're all right-hand drive. They were all sold in Japan, and they were shipped over here. And now it's amazing to find these actually in a junkyard period, because again, nobody scraps these. So my guess is that it was one sort of seller just got rid of all of them all at once. And these are very, very hard parts to come by. So if you need parts, there's, like I said, 6 of them here. So yeah, pretty cool though. So here we go, a Subaru Loyale wagon. Now this is really, really neat to see in here. You don't come across these too often anymore, because a lot of them just rusted into the ground. You see your good little boxer motor here. And these were actually fairly reliable overall. Although what's interesting, you see up here, the spare tire was actually put right there, underneath the hood, rather than in the back. Good old Space Saver spares, right? And it is, so there you go. 4-wheel drive and a 5-speed, which is cool. It has 225,000 kilometers on it. And this vehicle is actually in pretty good shape overall. Like, it's got a little bit of rust here and there, but really not too bad. I wonder what piled up on this one for it to be sent here to the junkyard, because really, yeah, the gas struts don't work anymore, but yeah, that's cool. And yeah, no, like the Loyale, so this is a 91, so this is one of the later ones, but the Loyale went all the way back to the 80s, like mid 80s to be honest. And it was kind of Subaru's sort of just their basic vehicle, nothing fancy, just basic transportation to get you down the road. But they're pretty cool to see, and they were mostly 4-wheel drive, just like this one. And there's another one. Twins. Yeah, surprised to see 2 of them, because it's let alone finding one. Seeing 2, pretty cool. Here we go, 91 Accord EXR Coupe, which is pretty cool. You don't see too many. Now, it's not automatic, but still, I like these little cars. They're good little cars, and being that it's a coupe is really, really neat. You can see, you know, good little 4-pod up here. I don't know what engine this would have been, but these were like very reliable overall, and it's really cool vehicles. And like this one actually, okay, there's a little bit of rust back here, but I do wonder why it ended up in here. I mean, it does have 304,000 kilometers on it, so maybe it's snapper time build or something, who knows. But, very cool. Honestly, I kind of dig it. So here we have an early Nissan hardbody. So this is like 85 or so. You see the little 4-cylinder up here. These are actually a very good truck overall. Now this one's been pieced together, as you can tell. Like, it's got a white door on it. It was probably rusted to hell. And you can see that it's starting to rust. And the thing is, with these trucks, ooh, it's a 5-speed. Nice. That's fun. So the problem is with these like Japanese sort of vehicles, the one thing that they were hampered by is, well, they were made in Japan. And now you go, wait a minute, but Japanese vehicles are good. Yes. But the overall metallurgy of Japan is awful. Like, there's a reason why that the samurai and everything folded their swords a bunch of times to actually get the carbon content to make them stronger, because the overall quality of their steel was hot garbage. So seeing it here, kind of a cool vehicle, but unfortunately it's a little bit dilapidated, but that's why it's in the junkyard though. Now in here we have a Honda Integra, or actually Acura, more like a Acura Integra 92. So this was Honda's little sporty coupe. There's another one over there actually, that they made for a few years, and they actually recently came back out with the Integra, and I'm not a big fan of the newer Integras, but these old Integras, absolutely. Big fan. And this was actually sold at Allen B. Olson Auctions. So you can see the seats here and everything. It is a 5-speed manual there. Very cool. Very cool. And the seat actually, I mean, a little bit of tearing here, but it's actually not in bad shape. And this was back when like comfort met sportiness. They don't exist anymore. That's probably the thing out of this. But yeah, just pretty damn cool. Sorry, I'm running out of time here, so I gotta hurry it up. And well, there you go. So that'll about wrap it up for this video. It's a long video for you guys, but hope you guys did enjoy. And yeah, this is you know, March 11th, which is actually the anniversary of me buying my car 5 years ago. 2024. So anyways, stay tuned for what's to come next. And yeah, very fun to come out to the junkyard. I always love doing these junkyard tours, and I know you guys like them too. So this one's extra long for y'all, and hope you enjoy. So anyways, take care, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.